Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, our group will present about Bird Nest Drink, which is a product from our company, Bird Nest Drink Enterprise. Before I start this presentation, I will introduce our group members. First, Cik Muhammad Alif bin Cik Ruslin. Second, Nazim bin Muhammad Shah. Third, Wan Hadi Imran bin Wan Muhammad. Fourth, Muhammad Aiman Shakir bin Jamaluddin. And lastly, I, Muhammad Azri Hazman bin Ibrahim. In this presentation, we will explain about introduction, company profile, products description, hazard analysis and critical counterpoint, hazard summary plan, and conclusion. For introduction, I will explain about our product, which is Bird Nest Drink. Our company, Bird Nest Drink Enterprise, is licensed to manufacture chicken isn't and bird nest product range under the BND brand that are satisfactory in quality and consistently in full compliance with regulatory and food safety standards. The reason why we choose this product because it has a lot of nutrients and important for our health. As we know, nowadays there are various dangerous diseases, so we need a kind of product to overcome it. As a very large company, Haccp plan need to be applied to meet the procedure in accordance with the wish of users. The first step in developing a Haccp strategy is to form a Haccp team that are comprised of personnel with relevant product and process knowledge and skill as described in this report. This entire team must collaborate to create the Haccp plan. Production, engineering, sanitation, quality assurance, and food microbiology experts should be included on this plan. Following that, the Haccp team will describe the food and its distribution. This includes a general description of the food, its ingredients, and the preparation procedures. They are also specified the food intended use and target audience. Furthermore, our Haccp team create a double check a flow diagram that depicts the process of our product. Following the completion of these 5 basic procedures and company product process incorporates the 7 Haccp principles.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Cik Muhammad Ali bin Cik Ruslin and I will explain a little bit about our Haccp team and responsibilities. Okay, in the first line, it is me, Mr. Cik Muhammad Ali bin Cik Ruslin as Haccp leader on our company. And second, Mr. Nazim bin Muhammad Shah as our food safety coordinator and audit team leader. And then Mr. Hadi, Mr. Azri and Mr. Aiman Shakir as our audit team member. So then I will explain about the responsibilities of Haccp team one by one, starting with the Haccp leader. Haccp leader is responsible for the implementation of Haccp system in organization. He is also the main person who responsible for document control, including the overseeing of the development, review and maintenance of all food safety systems, Haccp procedures, methods, specifications and records. He also responsible in communicating food safety policy, objectives, procedures or what we call standard operating procedures in our organization. Haccp leader also review all critical control point, monitoring and verification records to ensure compliance with Haccp critical limits and frequencies as required by the Haccp plan. He is also monitor Haccp and ensure all procedures are properly carried out. And lastly, he is responsible to develop and implement training plans for Haccp, GMP, SSOPs and all required plan programs. Okay, next we will move to the food safety coordinator and audit team leader, which is responsible to ensure that the food safety management system Haccp is well established, implemented, maintained and updated. He will also ensure the food safety system are compliant to firm policies and guidelines. He is also in charge of preparing all plant audits in compliance with FSQ policies and any statutory rules. And he is also manages line operation through finished product certification, compliance and line quality control. And lastly, he is responsible to keep records of all plant non-conformance and customer complaints and managing corrective actions for the complaints. Okay, after that, we move to the next position in our Haccp team, which is audit team member that relates with production. He is responsible for entire production process in the industry of Haccp. Second, ensure smooth and continuous production process. Third, planning out production and arranging production according to approved orders. And then, overall responsibility for initiating corrective action in the case of non-conformance product. And lastly, managing the production staff to ensure a smooth workflow. Furthermore, we also have a representative from Human Resource Department for our audit team member. It is responsible to ensure that accurate job descriptions are in place to meet Haccp needs. He will organize Haccp training sessions for all employees, formulate and implement human resources plan as well as policies for people management. To also provide advice and assistance when conducting staff performance evaluations. And last, audit team member from purchasing and sales department is responsible for internal verification of daily activities, responsible for product quality and safety, and for maintaining the hygiene conditions, conduct internal audit as per schedule, checking of daily reports for further improvement, and taking corrective action if necessary. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nazim bin Muhammad Shah. So, today I want to explain about our product description. So, as you all know, our company Bird Nest Herbs Enterprise produce the product called Bird Nest Drink. Okay, our product Bird Nest Drink is good for healthcare. There are traditional Chinese medicine claims that edible bird's nest work as remedy for illnesses like tuberculosis, asthma, and stomach troubles. It's also said that edible bird's nest might improve libido, strengthen immune function, enhance energy and metabolism, and stimulate circulation. Okay, so next is raw material used in our product. There are three materials that we use. First is bird nest paste, second is rock sugar, and lastly is guar gum. Okay, next is process types. There are several of process types of making bird nest drink. Firstly, of course, we processing of harvested bird's nests. Then we clean the bird's nest with clean water and brush it. After that, we sorting and remove impurities. For next steps, we process heating the bird's nest under high temperature to remove impurities. And then we use filtration to carefully select and sort dried bird's nest before delivery to factory. Next, we also use process of sterilization and packaging the bird's nest drink. And lastly, we make a last quality check, storage, and ready for shipment the product. Okay, so last from me is the important product characteristic in bird's nest drink. There are three characteristics are very important in our product. First is biological characteristic. Our product is free from any presence of spore-forming pathogens such as Cryptosporidia. Second is chemical characteristic. Our bird nest shall not contain any cross-contamination. And lastly, physical characteristic. Our product shall free from insects, dirt, soil, any remaining entrails, and final product shall be free from container integrity defect and foreign material. Okay, that's all from me. We're going to the next explanation.
I will explain the process flowchart of this product. First, water will be boiled to cook the drink. After that, we add sugar and stabilizer and mixing them together. After that, it will be sieved. This process is to sieve to isolate the impurities in the ingredients. Next, we need to take the bottle to fill the syrup. After process, capping, sterilization, tilting, and label, we need to store in the box. This process is to be placed in warehouse and delivery for the customer.
Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad M. Shakir bin Jamaluddin, and for my part, I will present about raw material master list, hazard worksheet raw material, and hazard worksheet processing step. Okay, for the first, raw materials master list, which is we have three raw materials: bird nest, rock sugar, and gallon gum. For the brand of the trio, our raw material is for the bird nest we have premium bird nest, and for the rock sugar sweet home rock sugar 5-1 for the gallon gum. Okay, they have a scientific name also, which is Aerodromus frustifergus for bird nest, saccharose for rock sugar, and Bacterium spigomonas alodia for gallon gum. uh all people maybe know about source of ingredient, because if you see and if you hear about bird nest, we know that the bird nest is source of ingredient is animal origins, and also rock sugar and gallon gum, which is plant derivatives. Their supply name and address is Bednef in Putrajaya, Rock Sugar in Rawang, Selangor, and all the Geylang Game in Kota Kemuning, Shah Alam, section 31. Okay, next to the next slide, we have manufacturer name and address, which is they are same like a supply name for the trio. So we skip to the part of ingredient status declaration with authority. The trio has yes for the authority, and but for the certified body only bird nest and rock sugar have a Haccp, not for galen gum. And for the halal certification expire date, which is for the bird nest is 31 or 31st May 2024, but for the both of another two uh they are 1 year after, which is 31st May 225. For the Haccp status, which is halal counterpoint status, for the bird nest, of course, it is high risk for the bird nest, but not for the other two. So the supporting document we can see in product certification, process flow, manufacturer declaration, COA, MSDS, and Haccp certificate for bird nest. Product specification also, process flow, manufacturer declaration, COA, and Haccp certificate for the rock sugar. And lastly, also same like rock sugar in the gallon gum. Okay, for this part, I will tell about hazard analysis worksheet, processing step. They which is the potential hazard of BCP, and the inclusion and exclusion of hazard. They have 9 processing step with so I will tell one by one their BCP hazard and inclusion or exclusion hazard. For the receiving, for our receiving, so we have biological pathogenic bacteria, like I said before, Collectricium, found in bird nest, and also Bacillus. We have also Escherichia coli and Lecon stock may be found in syrup. And for the inclusion and exclusion of Bacillus or the pathogen, which is the temperature abuse during receiving, may cause the pathogenic bacteria Collectricium to grow and multiply rapidly. And for the syrup, The pathogen are naturally occurring in syrup, which is for the coli and lichen stock. Uh, okay. Its properties such as high moisture content and natural pH in the raw material. So as a result, we will cause illness such as diarrhea. Okay. For the chemical and non possible hazard, and for the physical, they have pest and foreign, which is the exclusion of pest and foreign is unlikely to occur because raw material is protected by primary packaging material and receiving is carried out in enclosed and clean area. The pest control carried out regularly to minimize pest infestation. We have another step is sorting, which they have no BCP hazard, and also the is include an exclusion, and also for the filling, the but sorry, but for the filling we have only chemical and physical hazard, which is for the chemical is cleaning agent residue on the filling machine. For the exclusion, the usage of food grade cleaning agent will not harm the consumer, maybe. And for the physical, we have foreign materials such as dirt, dust, hair might be appeared, which is the not likely to occur due to proper cleaning, schedule, and implementation of good hygiene practice. And for last in this slide is capping, which is they don't have biological and chemical. They only have physical, which is metal fragment. Inclusion is metal fragments can pose a risk of injury of ingested. Okay, next step we have sterilization, which is for biological. They have pathogenic bacteria, like I said before. The chemical we have bisphenol A or BPA, and there is no in physical. So the inclusion of biological pathogenic bacteria, I already talked before. Then and for the BPA or bisphenol A, which is the chemical is a component in metal and coatings which protect the food from directly contacting metal surfaces, but it can leach into the content of the can and out and end up on the product. PPA contain estrogen receptor and influence body processes such as cancer and birth defects. Okay, for the packing and labeling, the physical, then can package like each tier of label, crack and pass. For and the exclusion is it can be controlled by proper handling and product moving fast. Conduct a visual inspection of finished product. And for the storing, we have biological and physical, which is biological if food spoilage due to the can rusting. And for the physical is then crash and can corrosion. For the for the biological, we have rust possibly make a hole of cans, which is result in food spoilage. But if store exceeded the standardized period, for the physical, for the physical, inclusion in proper handling may cause then sorry okay for the storing of physical inclusion improper handling may cause dent and crash product food react chemically with the metal container. And last is for the distribution, we have only biological, which is food spoilage. So we have only one, which is temperature abuse by the workers. Okay, for my last slide, I will tell about the process step. Significant hazard, critical limits, monitor, corrective action, and verification. Also the records. Okay, so for the CCP or critical control point number and processing step, which is the CCP1 receiving and CCP2 sterilization, and the last is CCP3, which is the capping. For significant hazard, we don't have any problem in receiving, but for the sterilization, yes, also we have pathogenic clostridium, and for the capping, we have metal fragment. For the critical limit, we have we need to maintain proper like I said before, we need to maintain proper below 4 degrees Celsius. So the raw materials is can seal properly and packaging and seal properly. For the sterilization, we need to sterilization period. We have a sterilization period which is the temperature above critical limit, which is 116 Celsius to 121 Celsius to attainable pressure canals operator at 10 to 15 psig, which is all psi. Then the time need to destroy bacteria in can lychee or in can. I'm sorry. For the bird nest bottle, range for 20 to 100 minutes. For the escaping, we have I don't know what is, so we skip that part. We we skip that part and we move to the monitor, which is the what, how, and how frequency and who. For the receiving, what of course it is a temperature. So the how is reading temperature from digital thermometer. Frequency is every batch. We need to do every batch. Who we need to do is top supervisor. Okay, for the sterilization, we need this is a time and temperature. The reading time from the industrial stopwatch and read temperature from the temperature. And for every, it's not for everybody. They need to only the sterilization every 30 minutes, and they are for operator who need to do, who can do. For the scaping, we have metal detector using test piece. We can pass product containing small metal test pieces of exact size through the detector, and we need to do this. We need to monitor this capping every 4 hours, and also the operator is the people to do. Okay, for the characterization, we have, like I'm saying before, below temperature 4 for receiving. The sterilization, okay, sterilization is also the same. We need to maintain maintain to for the Celsius. And for the capping, we need to reject or whole rejected product and check for metal pieces. Discard all product contaminated with metal pieces. For verification, we have verified the temperature records and spot check on store supervisor for receiving. Uh, Also verify time and temperature record, but we need to calibration of thermometer, check the product sample, and spot check of the operator for sterilization, and only verify record and visual inspection on the product sample for capping. Last but not least, for the record. The record for receiving, we need receiving record. For the sterilization record, and for the capping and capping record. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum. My name is Wan Hadi Imran bin Wan Muhammad. So, for this presentation, I will be explaining about the summary of our HACCP plan. For extra information as well, a well-planned HACCP documents must have 7 basic principles or items that need to be employed in the development of any HACCP plans that meet the stated goal. So these principles basically include hazard analysis, CCP identification, establishing critical limits, monitoring procedures, corrective actions, verification procedures, and record keeping and documentation. So now, let's move on to the summary of our company HACCP plan. As you guys can see, there are several columns that are specially designed to make sure that all of the data is being well recorded. Starting from the receiving, the first thing we need to do in every HACCP plan is that we need to identify the HCP itself. For example, at the receiving process, after we identify the HCP, we can now start to identify the halal risk, which is important because if this step is not taken seriously, it can affect the whole process and production. So, what is the halal risk when we receive the raw materials? It can be various, but the most common thing can be non-halal product may be delivered in the same lorry or container as an halal product. Now, how to monitor this situation? There are 3 steps need to be followed. First, method or how we do it. As you can see, we do inspection on the materials. Second, frequency or how many times we do the monitoring. Again, we do it every time when we receive the raw materials. Third, who should do the inspection. For our company, there are 3 specific personnel, which are guard, QA, QC, and supervisors. Next is action, which means what we do to ensure that these materials are in the best condition so we can use. Easy, we just make an agreement with the third-party logistic to follow our specific requirements to make sure all of our raw materials safely arrive. Lastly, records. For receiving, we do letter of agreement. All of this category will change following the procedure and Haccp. For example, receiving will not be the same as labeling and packaging. All of them are different according to its very own unique specifications. Okay, I think that's it from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
For the conclusion, our business has done its best to comply with and follow all the procedures, principles, and regulations that have been established in the production process of the items that our company will manufacture. Our organization is convinced that this product will assist consumers and meet the standards that they want. Everything described in this report is true and has been documented during the product production process. Our firm expects that this product will be released for usage by customers, providing them with a satisfaction as well as safety and health benefit from utilizing our products. This product will have a significant influence on customers, and we will work hard to ensure that it remains a top option in their everyday life. That's all from our group. Thank you.